Wow.
You are now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
¿Cómo están, female dogs? This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. Don't worry, at some point we are going to cuss today. However, the algorithm doesn't like it when I do it at the start of the show. So we're gonna test some new things. But my man, Evo, welcome in. You got some friend hanging out in the back. Can't say that word yet
almost
either.
got you.
Almost got me. But we're going to stay with some censorship today.
That's the old kitty.
The old
not
kitty.
not the P word.
Not the P word. But my man, we got week 12 recap. We got 3 Thanksgiving Day games. We got a Black Friday game. We got a lot of fucking football to talk about. We got a lot of shit to go over tonight. But welcome in. How you doing? How's the week going? Happy Thanksgiving coming up. I know we've been arguing basically all day about fucking food. So
yeah, I've been doing good. Look, I've been arguing more about food than you know. We had a chili cook-off at work today. I'm a chili fiend. I just like cooking for people in general, but I also like being competitive, and chili is one of my main go-to meals to compete with. I have a pretty killer competition chili, in my opinion, at least. When I ran through a test batch through the job site, everyone was lauding over it. I brought the crock pot home today with no chili in it. I still got second place, and I'm pretty pissed about it. And I got second place kind of by default. Now, let me be very clear. You need to be undeniable in things, right?
Right.
So, a win's a win, a loss is a loss. However, it was a 3-way tie. Each people had 7 votes, myself included, and one person had a ticket left who didn't want to vote so they just randomly put it in one of the spots, and that's the person that won in the chili cook-off. So they won not by a person voting for them necessarily, but a person just discarding their vote ticket. That was a little bit frustrating. because I put a lot of time into this chili. I was smoking meats yesterday and, you know, fancy shit for the chili. I thought it was pretty good, upsetting. And again, I took the crock pot home with no chili in it because people were filling up cups to bring it home because they wanted to eat more of it. And everyone else brought home chili. So I don't know how the fuck this works. Excuse my language. We're within
I
the
got you.
first.
I got
We're
you.
outside of 5 minutes, right? We're
I
good.
already got. I messed it up earlier. I hit it at like 3:30. So, hey, you know what? That's the first mark. 3:30. There's
Pussy.
that. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now the show is really
Either way,
rolling.
I'm frustrated about the chili competition, but that's okay. I know I made a good batch. I enjoyed it. I hope the other people enjoyed it. I like cooking for people, so that's part of the fun of this holiday that we have coming up here with Thanksgiving is getting to cook for friends, family, and commiserate together and watch some fantastic football, like the possibly non-DeVito led Giants versus the Cowboys with Cooper Rush. Cool games like that we're going to talk about today. But before that, we got to obviously get into our Week 12 games.
Yeah, we do. Before we do that, though, man, one thing that we got to get done. We haven't done something like this in quite some time, but we got a youth spotlight. So before I pop up the video here on a youth spotlight, I want to give some background on the young man. Young man by the name of Sam Llewellyn. He plays hockey for the Cleveland Barons Hockey Club. This Cleveland's Baron Hockey Club is they're elite, apparently. Elite hockey. They have had 181 D1 athletes and 21 NHL picks that have come through their organization. So it is a very, very good organization. Sam Llewellyn, I know him because he plays baseball for our team during the summertime. He is one of the best athletes I have ever had the honor of coaching. And he's really, really freaking good at hockey. Like I said, plays in one of the elite teams in the country. Was playing another elite team in Amherst, New York this last week, where he went and just twined 4 goals throughout. So the young man with the puck the entire time, that will be Sam. Nice steal, nice little snipe. Skates around, does it himself with the wrister. This is one of the fastest kids I've ever seen. Again, with the wrister. By the way, baseball coaches, if you want somebody to be a really good athlete and teach them baseball stuff, get you some hockey players. Sam, 4 goals against Amherst. They went on and won that. He got a goal in game 2 as well. So congratulations, Sam. Keep going, kid. I mean, I'm excited to see you come baseball season, but I'm excited for this kid. Special athlete. Whenever he gets to where he's going, I don't want to make any proclamations, but he's really good. Whenever he finally gets to where he's going in life, I hope the young man just remembers me and tosses me some tickets. Very proud of Sam and the things that he has done, and can't wait to see him continue to grow. So shout out to Sam Llewellyn there.
That's awesome. I guess it's you spotlight. I don't know if I talked about this on our last show, but also props to my Maple Grove Crimson. My high school football team won the 6A championship in Minnesota again this weekend. It's first time for their new head coach, Adam Spurrell, who was my positional coach when I played there. This is his first year as the head coach of the team. Took him back to the championship, undefeated season, fantastic year for the team. Super proud of the Crimson boys. It's building a little dynasty up there in Maple Grove, so super stoked about that.
Congratulations to the alma mater, to the boys up there. Congratulations.
Yeah, very nice.
With that, man, I don't know that we have too many other things. Are we ready to get into the show? Are we ready to start diving in to the week that was of football and try to say fuck as few times as possible?
Yeah, for sure. Look, if we want to do a PG show, or we have to plan for it ahead of time, but I can definitely throw a lot of fudges out there and frig.
I'm gonna be fornicating all over the place, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Look, last week we tried to do a relatively quick show because Mike was a little under the weather. That didn't work out. We still ended up going an hour. We're going to try again to keep this thing short and sweet for you. So we're just going to jump into week 12. We're not like Chris Berman, fastest 3 minutes of football or whatever it is, but we're going to try to give you a little tight and concise show here because, again, look, it's week 12. We are more than halfway done with the year. There's not a lot more that we can really go through unless there's special things about certain games that we really want to get into. But with that, we're going to start off going down this list on ESPN here. First game, final in overtime. My Vikings beat the Bears in Chicago 30-27. This game got extended out way further than it should have based off of a onside kick, one of the only onside kicks this year that has actually worked. It ended up not going 10 yards, hitting our backup tight end in the ankle, becoming a live ball. Real shitty. Same way that we started off the game, real shitty with a fumble on the goal line. Again, we have been having these fumble or turnover issues, but thankfully the past 2 weeks it hasn't been Sam Darnold. Look, Bears, I was impressed with what I saw from them. The defense obviously is stout. We were still able to put up good points against them, but the offensive coordinator switch there is making things look a lot better on offense. I talked about this last week. Getting rid of the previous OC and moving on to their new one, you're going to see an improvement just because this new guy's going to be calling regular shit, right? Yeah. He's not going to be making asinine calls. But in general, Caleb Williams getting the ball out of his hands quicker. He's making better decisions. Some receivers are dropping balls for him. That isn't helping him out. But overall, that team's looking good. They didn't really get the run game going, but the offense is looking a lot better. If you're a Caleb Williams fan, this should give you a lot of hope for this offense going forward. They could be a sneaky team here for the rest of the year that's going to tack away at some of these good teams out there because this was definitely a closer game than it should have been. But the Bears had got some fight in them. So props to the Bears, props to Caleb Williams, a 340-yard, 2-touchdown day for him. But the Vikings offense looked really good. Justin Jefferson, next to nothing out there as far as the stat sheet. He, I think, ended regulation or close to regulation with 1 catch for 7 yards. But he had several times that he was getting PIs, and he was opening everything else up for TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, who had a huge game, and Aaron Jones, really big game from him as well. So 92 for my Vikings. Happy with this win. Wish it was a little bit more of a delta between the scores there. We need to clean some things up, but happy with my team.
Evo, what the fuck is wrong with your Vikings, bro? That's the first one all year. That is the first push either of us have had.
Yeah.
It was rough. 12.
Yeah, look, it was close. And earlier in the day, it was 3.5 points.
Yeah.
Before we did the show, it was -3.5 for the Vikings. I probably would have still took them, though I had an inkling about taking the Bears if it was at 3.5. Yeah. Look, if it wasn't for that stupid, well, realistically, the really bad 10-point last couple of minutes for the Bears, we would have been golden. But is what it is. I'm happy we got the win. And hey, look at that. Another positive week for me.
Another positive week for you. Bad week for me. I went 5-7-1. You went 7-5-1. You're nipping on my heels now. 3 games back. I am 2 games under 500. You are 5 games under 500. I feel like we're gonna get over that 500 mark before the end of the year. We got plenty of time, but not a great week. I started out feeling really good, and the afternoon games just kicked me right in the sack, dude.
Yeah,
everything about the afternoon games was tough. But I got to tell you, this first game, this Vikings-Bears game, while the Bears played better, this is bad for Bears fans. The fact that they're playing this much better, because if you stay competitive in all of these fucking games, or if you win some of these games, but you're not really that much better, you know, it doesn't change. Maybe Eberflus.
No way. I don't think there is any way that
you don't think so.
I would put cold hard cash that he will not be the head coach next season,
regardless of how they finish.
Regardless, if they win out, I think he is still gone. The town is over him. He has fired every other coach on this team essentially through his tenure. He's the only guy that still remains. They have looked bad the whole way through. They've got good players and good potential, and they just aren't doing it. It's poorly managed from the coaching staff. I don't think Ryan Poles will stick with Eberflus, regardless of how the season turns out. Like, they would somehow have to win out and make it to the playoffs, which is technically possible. Yeah. But it's like got to be like a 1% chance. Yeah, I don't see it happen.
All right. No, well, now listen, you reside up there in the AFC or in the NFC North. Listen, I think that there was a strong contingent of people that liked Eberflus in that organization. If that organization can look better, somebody's going to try to sell that they didn't make a colossal mistake.
Like they've just been bad for years.
That's true.
Bad for years.
Very true.
And they're winning despite the talent, and losing despite the talent. It's the coaching conundrum up there.
Well, let's talk about good coaching. We'll move on to the Lions game versus the Colts. Lions go in, beat the Colts 24-6. Jahmyr Gibbs has a great day. I was on pace. I was cruising to a Lineman Lounge parlay hit. David Montgomery goes out of the game, doesn't get over the yards. Jahmyr Gibbs has a great day. Anthony Richardson regresses back to old Anthony Richardson, and the Lions come away with an easy win. Was this Lions being really good, Colts being kind of bad, and Anthony Richardson being a poor quarterback? Or like, where is the storyline here? Because we saw good Anthony, now we got bad Anthony Richardson, but he's also going against the Lions, who everybody knows is the best team in football by a long shot right now.
Yeah, I think it's the Anthony Richardson game. It's what you're going to get out of him, unless you're able to get some of those pop plays that really turn the tide and keep your team in it. Anthony Richardson right now is just not accurate enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And you saw that in this game. The Detroit Lions defense is not good. They're okay, but they're not like really good. And the pass defense, we talk about this all the time, is suspect. That's the type of team that he should do better against. But again, it's game script. The Lions game script is run the ball. They can run a rather pedestrian offense otherwise. I mean, Jared Goff didn't throw a pick or an interception in this game. Just a decent amount of yards. Just nothing special has to be done, especially passing-wise in the offense. They control the game on the ground, and they get ahead with scores, and it puts the other team in a bad spot where they feel like they have to pass, and you don't have a guy that can come from behind for a passing win like that in Anthony Richardson. Lions are a good team. They didn't have to do anything special in this game. And until the Colts get the quarterback position figured out, whether that's Anthony Richardson learning how to be a better passer and a consistent passer, or finding a different quarterback route, this is kind of what the Colts are going to be.
Yeah, I agree, man. Lions are really good. The Colts are a decent team. If Anthony Richardson could play, not even starting level quarterback, because he's not even playing backup level quarterback.
Here's a question for you:
50% completion percentage.
And look, I still think that the Colts would be better right now with Joe Flacco in there.
Probably.
I know Daniel Jones wants to go to a playoff team, but Daniel Jones would be better, right?
No, fuck no. You're not doing the reclamation project of Daniel Jones when they already have a guy in-house who's a reclamation project. Anthony Richardson.
I'm not saying they should sign him. This is a hypothetical. Daniel Jones on this team, they probably are better, right? Daniel Jones is
right now, yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the type of stuff that we're talking about. Daniel Jones is generally considered one of those low-end quarterbacks in the NFL, obviously without a job right now, but just as a comparison tool. You know, we've got the Bo Nix Award for having really bad weeks, and
we're going to have to change that to the fucking Anthony Richardson Award.
Richardson is tiptoeing that line week in and week out whenever he starts, right? That's kind of our litmus test in comparison tools here. And Daniel Jones on this team right now, this would be a much better team.
You would get a huge uptick in the efficiency of your offense because you would be completing at least 56% of your passes.
Yeah.
So
easy to say. With that, though, we'll move on to our next game. Patriots and Dolphins in Miami. Dolphins get the win 34-15. Big day for Tua, 4 touchdowns, 317 yards. Look, Dolphins are working their way to try to claw back into the playoff race. It is an uphill battle for them, but these are the type of wins that they're going to need to have in order to get there. Decent day from Drake May, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 22 passes completed for 222 yards, and was able to get another 26 on the ground. Look, the Patriots team are going to be the team that if you sleep on them, they'll be able to keep close with you. But we know they're not a great team this year. They're working towards building towards the future.
Absolutely, man. Dolphins, good game. Jalen Waddle showed up. I called it on our Sunday shows, like a Jalen Waddle go-off game. He went off, got my yards. Man, I hit everything I needed to if it's not for the David Montgomery injury. Dolphins will be a competitive team for the rest of the way because they are a competitive team. They are a good team when everything is working right and Tua is healthy. They could play spoiler, maybe even sneak into a spot there at the back end of the AFC playoff picture, especially with the Chargers going down last night.
Yeah. Miami right now, they're 8th in the AFC. I don't think they're catching the Bills in their own division. But ahead of them, they have the Broncos, the Texans, and the Chargers. All teams that, it's foreseeable that one of them could kind of fall off towards the end of the year, giving the Dolphins a chance. Next up, we have the Buccaneers and Giants. The Tommy DeVito-led Giants. The Paisano passion didn't work out for him in this game. Giants score 7 points to the Buccaneers 30. And you do see this from the Baker Mayfield, which was fantastic. A nice little celebration from him there. He says he didn't have it planned.
Come on.
He might have had that one planned. Look, DeVito, though, for what it's worth, he didn't look absolutely terrible. Like, he was putting up numbers that you could see from a Daniel Jones. It's 21 to 31, 189 yards, a 6.1 yard average, no interceptions. Drew Lock did get in there a little bit. They're not sure if DeVito's actually going to be playing on Thursday because of an injury. But the bigger story is that there's turmoil within the team. I think Daboll's a good coach, but the way things are kind of being shooken out here right now, you're having guys, team leaders like Malik Neighbors, like Dexter Lawrence, publicly saying that it's not the quarterback that's the problem here. Obviously, what they did to Daniel Jones was bullshit in more or less words. That's a problem organizationally in this team, and I get that the players are going to be frustrated with how their season has turned out, but you don't want to be hearing that from vocal team leaders, guys that you plan on having for years to come, especially if you're the head coach, unless they're all trying to point towards the GM. But look, I was a fan of the Shane hire for the Giants. I was a fan of the Dable hire for the Giants. I think both of them are good, but there's a problem there right now. And whatever the cancer is has to be cut out if they want to have success going forward. And maybe that is a little bit of chemo cure from a Shadur Sanders or Cam Ward or some quarterback this offseason. I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I like Dable as a coach, but I think his time in New York is probably coming to an end at the end of this year. Based on the comments that have come out, you can't expect that the organizations to be like, yeah, let's give this guy free reign to pick the quarterback of the future, because if he's already losing the locker room with our leaders, he's not going to fucking be here anyways. And they're going to reset at quarterback. That's obviously happening with the release of Daniel Jones. So I think that Daboll is probably also out there. He could be another head coaching candidate somewhere else. Maybe not. Maybe goes back as an offensive coordinator somewhere. It'll depend on who's looking for what. Dallas could be in the market for a new head coach. Daboll might be a nice little fit down there.
I think at a minimum he gets scooped up as an OC if he's not on this Giants team anymore.
Yeah,
everything that he did with Josh Allen in Buffalo is not forgotten. The fact that he was able to use Daniel Jones to get into a wild card slot in the playoffs, that's not going to be forgotten on people.
Exactly.
You could see a guy like a Flores go become a head coach and they want a strong offensive mind and have a Daboll come in or something like that. Like that would be a really
spends
good fit.
a year together, and then Daboll goes and gets another head coaching gig.
Or Vrabel with Daboll, something like that. Like two strong head coaches like that coming back together. Like it would be a good setup. But for the Giants' sake, I think Daboll is a good answer. He just never was going to be successful with Daniel Jones there. Like Daniel Jones might not be the problem, but he sure as fuck ain't the answer. And if you're limiting your offense with that type of quarterback play, you're only going to be able to get so much out of it.
Man, that was a profound statement that I wish Cleveland Browns fans would just completely understand.
Well, you can lead a horse to
Might
water.
not be the fucking problem, but he's definitely not the answer.
Yeah. All righty. Well, speaking of problems, Cowboys and the Commanders had some problems in this game.
Yeah,
They get the L in this one. And we were both on the commies here. No, we weren't. You were on the Cowboys, weren't you?
I did.
Yeah.
10.5 was too many, bro. 10.5.
Yeah, fuck you though, because this was just a wild game.
Yeah,
You
it was
see Scary
insane.
Terry, kick returns, all sorts of weird shit happen. Either way, Cowboys get the win 34-26. Cowboys, this might have been your Super Bowl this year. This is possibly the last like big hoorah for the season because you got one on the Commanders. Commanders are a good team. Jaden Daniels hasn't been looking as good in recent weeks, but still, like this was a lot of just non-standard plays that were happening. You were seeing explosive plays. That Cavante Turpin kick return with the spin was fantastic. That was awesome. Like a fun play to watch. But it's Cowboys severely outperformed what I think most people expected was going to happen in this game. Because look, you might have given the Cowboys the 10 points, but I don't know if you expected them to play this good.
Fuck, I didn't think they were going to win. I didn't think they'd beat the Commanders, but 10.5 I was going to take for sure. You're right. The plays were wild. I thought the Commanders were going to come back and win this thing because, I mean, it looked like a classic letdown by a team that's not very good. And then the return, it was wild. Scary Terry is insane. I love him. He is a special receiver. But one thing that needs to happen that I noticed at this, even with the win by the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott needs to be freaking cut. I can't believe I just said freaking. Ezekiel Elliott needs to be cut. He is not helping this team in any capacity. He had 3 carries for 6 yards. His long was 4. That means his other 2 carries went for 1 yard apiece. He's only making $2 million. Cut him and give anybody else who has ever played the position of running back an opportunity to show you what they can do. Ezekiel Elliott is not helping this franchise at all.
Yeah, I would just start throwing darts at like undrafted free
Who's
agent
off the
rookie type
street
guys.
at this point?
See if you can find something, a little splash of lightning. Big though for the Commanders here was the turnovers, right? Jaden Daniels, 2 interceptions. They had a fumble as well, along with giving up those big plays. You had some injuries. It looks like both Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler are injured. So if you're looking for a running back, at least for a week's play in fantasy, Jeremy McNichols, big pickup there. But it was just the Washington Commanders almost felt like this might have been a trap game for them in reality. It's divisional opponent.
Your
Cowboys are not good.
10.5.
Yep. And you let one go here. You think that you're just going to be able to walk in and roll over Dallas. You can't do that in the NFL, no matter how bad the team is. So tough loss there for the Commanders. I think Dan Quinn probably was going to be talked about as coach of the year, possibly with what he's done with this team. I feel like this almost is kind of like a nail in the coffin type of game when you lose to the Cowboys like that.
I don't know. Listen, there's a lot of time to bounce back. People are getting a book on Jaden Daniels. They need to make an adjustment. That is what needs to happen. He is very special, but people know what he can do now. They need to make a slight offensive adjustment, and they will be fine. I do not think that this is going to nosedive their season. It's a bad loss for sure, especially when you're favored by 10.5. But I don't foresee it completely tanking this team. This team's really, really freaking talented. Shout out. Hey, what's up, Jeff? And I'm not sure what you're asking here, but mascot? But yeah, hey, Commanders, they're a good team. They might not have played their best game, but I don't think that they're going to nosedive. Where are you at? Anything else on that one? Do you know what Jeff's talking about, by the way, on a mascot? Did anybody mention a mascot?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not sure. Do we need a mascot, Jeff? Is that what you're saying?
Trash pandas. If we're doing a mascot, we're the fucking trash pandas.
A raccoon. Okay.
I mean,
But look, as far as the Commanders are concerned, look, they are a good team. They still have some questions on defense and whatnot. But I do think that they are taking a Houston Texans path right now. Like we're seeing a big leap from them. And with the right moves in the offseason, we could see a really stout team that could be, you know, a long-time divisional leader for that division. So we'll see going forward and see if they can recover from a loss from this Cowboys team, which I just did not expect. Next up, though, the Chiefs.
So we got a lot of things happening here. I said trash pandas. You said raccoon. While technically the same animal, we would not be the raccoons. It would be the trash pandas. That would be the official mascot. And we got our guy, the vanilla gorilla, hopping in here with trash pandas with the picture of an actual panda. We got a whole lot of shit going on here with animals and mascots, and I love it. But let's go ahead. What's that next game, brother?
The Chiefs and the Panthers in Carolina. And this one was way too close for comfort if you're a Chiefs fan. The Chiefs get the win at the end of the game, 30-27 versus this Carolina Panthers team. Are the Panthers better than we're giving them credit for or something? Because look, they had 1-2 in a row coming into this, and then they almost get one on the Chiefs, who just got their first loss last week. I know our thoughts on the Chiefs, that the Chiefs played down to their opponents. They're not as good as their record indicates, but they do have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, one of the best of all time, and they just find ways to win. But if you are as good of a team as they should be, you shouldn't be allowing 3-8 Panthers teams with Jags on defense and not much on offense to be playing you this close. What's going on?
Okay, so the Panthers beat the Saints and the Giants, who were both in an absolute free fall as organizations when they got beat by the Panthers. And then the Chiefs, I honestly think, are incredibly overrated. Now, the Panthers are playing better, sure, than we thought, but are they that much better? Did we severely underrate this team? Hell no. They're not that good. But honestly, the Chiefs aren't that good either. We have talked about this ad nauseum, I feel like, this year, about how they are just barely good enough to beat teams that they should, but games where it's tough, they're probably not going to win. Josh Allen had no problem with this team. Good teams are not going to have problems with the Chiefs. Scrappy teams will give the Chiefs everything they want, but the Chiefs can beat them. That's what I think happened in this game. That's what I think has happened all year. Now, has some good things happened for the Panthers? Hell yeah. The emergence of Chuba Hubbard has been fantastic for this team. Being able to trade away a CMC, get capital back, not that it did them any fucking good because they wasted it, and be able to keep Chuba Hubbard and use him is great. It would have been better had they used those picks wisely. But you know what? Bryce Young is playing backup level quarterback at least now.
He's better than the Bo Nix, Anthony Richardson line for sure.
Yeah, he's been better than that line, but I mean, not a lot better. So he's playing like mid-tier backup quarterback, or maybe even high-tier backup quarterback. Still not a starter, but the Chiefs are a team that's prone to just kind of show up, go through the motions, and maybe get a win.
All right. Well, look, here's a conversation that's probably going to hurt some people's feelings. Is Pat Mahomes even a top 5 quarterback this year?
No. And it's not. No. That's easy.
Now, if we're going to play devil's advocate here, what receiving options does he have? And offensive line's a little beat up. Does that factor in? Should it matter?
Did it factor in last year? Did it factor in the year before? Why all of a sudden does it matter?
We've seen a lot of great quarterbacks, i.e. Tom Brady, put up stellar years when they don't have insane receiving talent around them. Like Tom always kind of had Gronk or, a tight end, or he had Moss for a couple years, and they'd have a Wes Welker, or, they'd have a receiver there. Right. But they never, very rarely did they just have an elite receiving core and they were able to make things happen. There's always talks about Green Bay when Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers there, that they were playing with guys that were generally Jags and were uplifted by that quarterback play. And that's what you would want to see from Pat Mahomes. So look, right now he's 10th in the league in total passing yards. He's thrown 18 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Those are pretty high numbers for him. You see some of him trying to make some of the magic happen, but it's just not happening this year so far.
Yeah, so he's not playing great. The weapons around him, sure, are not the best weapons he's ever had, but they weren't great last year. Now, the loss of Rashee Rice was big because Rashee Rice was emerging to be a really special wide receiver, in my opinion. As long as he could fucking keep his car in his own goddamn lane, he'd have been fine. I digress. So sure, he doesn't have great weapons, but Pat Mahomes is supposed to be this otherworldly, greatest quarterback of all time conversation type guy. He should elevate the people around him, and he has not done that this year. I'm not saying that he's never done that. He's done it plenty. But this year is not the year for that. It's okay to have a down year. Pat's down year is going to be better than a lot of guys' good years, but it's still a fucking down year.
And we do need to keep in mind, he still has Travis Kelce. Who's regressed some, but he still has Travis Kelce. He's got a Xavier Worthy first-round pick that is supposed to be really good, right? He's got DeAndre Hopkins there now. And for whatever you want to think of it, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's got guys with some pedigree, some name there that he should be able to, even if they're aging a little bit, elevate to an extent if he's as good as people are saying. I think that the whole GOAT conversation between like him and Tom Brady really has to kind of stop right now. It has to be put on pause because this year, I think, should make people realize that guys like Lamar and guys like Josh Allen are absolutely outplaying him.
Well, Lamar Jackson is playing MVP caliber football. He probably is the MVP right now. If you look at his stats, the position,
30 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and I don't know if you looked at the video that I posted on Facebook.
Yeah,
the 3 interceptions that he has thrown were all like tipped balls off of his receiver.
Yeah.
Like they would not or should not be considered his fault. That's insane how well he is playing right now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I know Vanilla Gorilla, not a chance, bro. I know you're
the MVP of concussions, but that's about it.
I'm not going to come up with an acronym for MVP that deals with concussions here on the fly. No,
but if Lamar, you guys can come up with one, put it in the comments.
Here. Or you guys could call in at 216-807-2223. Call line is open.
And if you love us talking about Tua's concussions and other weird football shit, just take a second, like, share, and subscribe our channel. Get on the YouTube. Give us a follow there. We'd much appreciate it. We're just two dummy thick idiots talking about random shit.
Random shit. Typically, that random shit centers around football. But if you go check out anything over at the No Sleeves Network, nosleevesnetwork.com, you'll see that we talk about a bunch of random shit, especially like Thanksgiving and food. By the way, be on the lookout for a food bracket for Thanksgiving coming from The Talk. With that, what the hell were we talking about? Let's stop talking about the Chiefs and how much.
We're talking about Patrick Mahomes and just not being that good this year.
Yeah, he's not been great.
It's a tough conversation because why would we want to denigrate the biracial angel as our friend of the show, Wes Aston, always calls
I believe
him.
also a fellow biracial angel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But look, he is not a top five quarterback this year. I think it is bringing up some major question marks about his legitimacy. Like, I think any team would love to have him, but right now he's not looking like he should.
Oh, hang on. Hello, please.
Mike's about to bust.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay, it didn't go through. Stand by.
Amber's a lucky lady.
Yeah, she is.
That's your.
Okay. All right.
Oh no!
Stand by 1 second. Let me check this, and I'll call you. And call us right back. I'll tell you when. The call line is not working. It's receiving calls, but let's check this here. Anyways, go ahead and preface the next game, brother, while I troubleshoot this goddamn thing.
All righty. Next up, we have the Titans and the Texans being played in Texas. The Titans get the win here, 32-27. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this might have been my plum pick of the week. Look, I did not expect this one to happen. At least I didn't expect the Titans to win this game. But here we are. Titans get the win over the Texans. Texans are so damn wishy-washy this year. I had such high hopes that they were going to be the strongest competitor in the AFC going up against the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. But they're kind of falling on their face here. Big day from Tony Pollard running the ball. Will Levis also has himself a pretty good day, 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. Titans team came to play, and the Texans team, I mean, they put up some points. Nico Collins looked pretty good, 92 yards on 5 catches and a tud. But overall, the Texans have some soul searching to do. The defense is a lot weaker than I think is being led on, because you shouldn't be dropping one to the Titans at this point in the year.
No, they should not be dropping one to the Titans. Texans, they couldn't get anything going in the run game. That's really where they got stifled. Titans are a capable team against the run. Like, they gave up huge plays throughout the season, but they're only susceptible to those big plays, apparently, is what it sounds like. Because I expected Aaron Jones to have kind of a big day. Didn't happen. Stymied. Once again, here with Joe Mixon, who's been fantastic. So good run defense, but occasionally gets hit with a big play. That was kind of the difference in this one for me, man. The inability to run the football. Texans, I don't expect to fall off, go anywhere, but
look, 22 yards on the ground from Joe Mixon. That's a pretty terrible day, especially when I've been banging the table about him being such a good running back. Just not a good day from him. They still were able to have good offensive production, and they were able to get that through the pass game. But they could have dictated the run game a lot more, controlled that game script. We're going to keep hammering that narrative forward, control the game script with the run, and maybe they could have had a better result there versus the Titans. So getting away from the run did not help them there. Next game, we have the Broncos and Raiders. Broncos get the win in Vegas, 29-19. Gardner Minshew goes down, broken collarbone, out for the year. Aiden O'Connell will be coming back now. They're expecting him to be getting the next start coming off of that IR with the hand injury. Things are obviously not going good there for the Raiders. How long before Antonio Pierce is no longer the head coach of this football team?
I think he makes it the year. They'll probably let him go the whole year.
I feel like they will probably let him finish out the season. But once they are eliminated, the regular season is over. They will probably be saying, "Hey, this player-led experiment is over. We thank you for your culture, but it is not working out for us." For the Bo Leavers out there, 25 of 42, 273 yards and 2 touchdowns. Another really solid game from Bo Nix. But I don't want to say I'm going to eat crow on him because I'm still not a big Bo Nix fan. I think that he is almost hitting that ceiling. But that ceiling is good. It's not bad. He's playing above average, top 15 level quarterback play right now. I wouldn't be complaining if I was a Broncos fan at all with what I'm seeing out of him.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to change the Bo Nix Award to the Anthony Richardson Award. That's almost certainly going to have to happen because Bo Nix is playing really good football.
Look, I just like the trope from that week when he.
Yeah, it was so bad, dude. The Bo Nix, it was so bad. By the way, caller, if you want to try to call back in, feel free. I think I got it to work. I don't know because you could hear. Could you hear the call come through?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know what the hell happened. What settings got changed along the way here?
Not sure. But yeah, look, Vegas, real rough outing for them. They have no semblance of a running game. Not that the Broncos had a lot going for them in the run game in this one either, but you have a guy named Sincere McCormick getting 5 rushes for 33 yards.
Can you hear it now?
With the Raiders? No, sir.
I can hear it. So stand by.
But yeah, Sincere McCormick, who the hell is that?
Gorilla. Okay, so the Vanilla Gorilla. What's going on, big guy? You are on with the Lineman Lounge.
I can hear nothing. But to prevent some
Hold on.
more.
He's still talking. Go ahead. Hang on, Vanilla Gorilla. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know what happened, why you can't hear it now. Hello? You still there, Vanilla Gorilla? I can hear you. Evo can't hear you. Things are going haywire. What do you got?
All right. Well, if you guys can't hear me, it's not going to get.
You got him on speakerphone?
Tua for MVP.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right. Can anybody hear him?
No.
I can hear him. All right. Vanilla Gorilla, I'm going to let you go. I love you. We can't, you're not coming through. I don't know what happened. All right. We're going to fix the call line at some point. Don't fucking call in. I'm closing the call line.
Alert.
Alert. Don't call the call line.
Close the call line.
Doing it live, baby.
Yep. But no, a good day from Bo Nix. Wouldn't be complaining if I'm a Broncos fan to have him as my quarterback right now. I don't know that we're ever going to see, and this sounds bad, and then part of it is because I'm not a huge Bo believer, but I do think that we've kind of seen that peak of what he can be and will be going forward. So that's good enough to win you football games, especially when you got a strong defense like the Broncos have. Alrighty.
Good defense. So anybody who tuned in during that little segment, Vanilla Gorilla each tried to call in. I could hear him. Apparently nobody else could. So he was talking about Tua, MVP. We'll troubleshoot that at a later date. Call line is closed. Evo, we're done with the Broncos. What the fuck game are we talking about now that
we're on to the 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. This 49ers team did not even have as many of the hurt players back as we thought that they would. Trent Williams did not play.
No.
Bosa is out, Purdy's out. Packers get the win 38-10. We were hopeful that the 49ers would still be able to pull one out here against the Packers. Absolutely not the case. When you have Josh Jacobs getting 106 yards and 3 tutties, it's going to be tough sledding there for any team. Brandon Allen, 17-29, 199 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That is backup level play. That's kind of what you should expect to see from him. Another bad day from Christian McCaffrey on the ground, only 31 yards on 11 carries and another 37 yards through the air. Really pedestrian day for him. George Kittle had a good day, but again, Josh Jacobs over on the Packers, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love not having to do much, just over a 50% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns and 163 yards. It was nothing special other than a run game from that Green Bay Packers team, and that this 49ers team just could not hold it together with all these injuries.
Yeah, I really was hoping that it would be obviously much closer. I went out and said I thought the 49ers could win this game. I was very clearly wrong. By the way, Packers fans love letting you know when you're wrong about the Packers.
Yeah.
They are up in they are in those TikToks like crazy when we talk about the Packers. They played good. The 49ers played bad. I still don't think Jordan Love is that good. The inability of the 49ers to move the ball at all on offense is what dictated this game. That's why the score was so drastically out of hand. Good win for Packers. They will continue to kind of clip these teams off as they go. They're not a bad team, but do I have this unwavering faith that they're potentially a Super Bowl contender? No. And the people that are in our TikToks comments saying that the Packers are Super Bowl contenders, you guys are fucking high.
Yeah, and look, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender either. I think that they absolutely can be a playoff team. This whole NFC North, the way the NFC North is playing, like you're probably getting 3 teams out of the NFC North into the playoffs, just with how good all of our records are. but there are still weaknesses. Teams are going to get you. And Jordan Love, look, he does not have the clutch gene. He hasn't shown it yet. And he doesn't have the accuracy to be super consistent going forward. He's not as inaccurate as an Anthony Richardson, but still, he's making mistakes that are, putting your team behind in some of these games. Look, congratulations on the win. And we'll see how the rest of the season goes going forward. Looking at that Packers schedule, they've got games here that they can win. They've got one versus the Dolphins for sure. That's a question mark because we don't know what that Dolphins game is going to be. Next game there, they have a really tough one coming up at the Lions. After that, Seahawks, Saints, both games that they could win, and then Vikings and Bears to close out the season. So look, it's not an easy path going forward, but if they're able to get wins here versus these NFC North teams, yeah, they're going to make up a lot of ground. We'll see.
Well, and listen, the entire country is going to get to see a lot of this Packers teams here recently. They're going to have 4 straight primetime games. We got Dolphins, Lions, Seahawks, Saints, all primetime games. We're going to see if Jordan Love has a little bit of clutch gene, a little bit of big game in him when those games are important, especially that Packers-Lions game. That's going to be huge. See what he can do there. And then I'll maybe start worrying about the Packers trying to win a Super Bowl.
All right, next up, we have the Cardinals and the Seahawks in Seattle. Seahawks get the win 16-6 over the Cardinals. Really rough day for Kyler Murray. Interception, 285 yards, but wasn't able to put up anything scoring-wise in the air or on the ground. Only had 2 rushes for 9 yards on the ground. And when Kyler Murray is not rolling, this team isn't rolling, man. Not that the Seattle Seahawks did a whole lot either. Look, 254 yards from Geno and a touchdown and interception. They did not get the run game going again. Neither team did, to be completely honest. James Conner, 7 carries for 8 yards with the type of running back that he is. Very embarrassing game from that Cardinals run attack. And then another really, really bad day from that Seattle rush attack. And that's why it's such a low scoring game. Look, this is Cardinals team. I can't get a read on them. My Vikings play him this week. I can't get a read on him. I know that they can be scary with Kyler and the things that he can do and James Conner in that running attack. But look, if Kyler is not on, this team will not put up points. They will not win games.
I'm not sure Kyler trusts his receivers, bro. Honestly, I'm not sure
he trusts Trey McBride.
He trusts the shit out of Trey McBride. I believe Trey McBride had more targets than everybody else combined. Oh, no, not quite. Close. Fucking close.
Yeah, exactly the same amount of targets as every other receiver on the team.
It's insane.
No. Yep. Close.
Either way, they're just not distributing the ball. Like, Kyler is not distributing the ball. And the run game, I don't understand what they only ran 14 times in a 6-16 game. What was the game plan here? Was it like, hey, we're not going to run the ball fucking at all? Like, if you were to run the ball, fucking give me 10 more runs. 24, at least somewhere in the 20 range to see if you can get something to pop.
Against the Seattle team with a beat-up defensive line, they are the 8th worst rush defense in the league. You would think that would be the game plan.
This is a terrible, terrible game plan. I don't know what they were planning on doing. It was Kyler's going to go out there and win this game by himself, kind of, well, with the help of Trey McBride, and fuck everybody else. It was a terrible idea to go in with trying to do what they were going to do. Seattle didn't excite me at all. They got to win. They're going to continue 6-5, baby. They're going to be that middling 8-9, 9-8 team.
Yeah. And look, I still think that it's criminal what they're doing with Marvin Harrison and not getting him the ball more. We know how talented he is, how talented he can be. 6 targets, only 3 receptions, 47 yards for a potential game breaker like that. It just feels criminal. They've got the pieces to be really fucking good on offense. Kyler can be a really good quarterback. James Conner can be a really good running back. Trey McBride, top 5 tight end in the league if things work out correctly. And then Michael Wilson, really nice number 2. You got a really good number 1 in Marvin Harrison. Like, there should be no reason why this offense isn't rolling. Can't have games like that. It'll be interesting to see what happened with Drew Petzing in the offseason. He has had some talk about him potentially being looked at as an offensive head coach in this next coaching cycle. But when you put up stinkers like this, it's going to really, really make that difficult to sell.
You know, if Kyler was throwing it to Brittany Griner, maybe he'd be doing better.
Is that a Larry Fitzgerald joke?
Yes, it is.
Don't denigrate Larry Fitzgerald.
No, it's not a joke. So there is I'm not sure if it's a real tweet or a fake tweet.
I know what you're referencing. That's awesome. All right. Deep cuts there. Sunday night football. Baby. We have the Eagles and Rams. Eagles get the win 37-20. And the story of this is obviously Saquon. Saquon is putting up an MVP caliber season. Look, we talked about Lamar having an MVP caliber season, but Saquon is becoming undeniable in this aspect. Comparing him to the last running back that got MVP and Adrian Peterson, he is outpacing him right now. He set so many records in this game, 255 rushing yards on 26 carries and 2 touchdowns, and then another 47 yards in the air. Just an absolutely phenomenal game from Saquon Barkley. He's putting that entire team on his back. Offense didn't have to do a whole lot. A.J. Brown had himself a little nice day, but 179 yards through the air for Jalen Hurts. Nothing special there. Like Saquon, when you're able to run like that, like no one else has to do anything. He's having just a really, really fucking phenomenal year. And I will eat crow on this. I expected Saquon to be doing good, but I expected him to mix in and meld with this offense where everyone was able to be more successful. They're just allowing him just to be a beast and take over that entire offense. That's the scary thing about this Eagles team, is that if Saquon is not having that sort of a game, they've got the weapons and capability to be a really good passing team. It's kind of looking on offense like that Detroit Lions model. Run the rock. And then if you need to, you've got all the weapons there to pass if you need to. Yeah. Look, this Eagles team, I still want people to maybe pump the brakes a little bit. They are looking good. They have won 7 in a row. But remember the competition that they've gone up against. They're about to go up against some good teams in the Ravens, the 2-1 Panthers over the last 3 weeks. So, a veritable road grader of teams here. The Steelers, like, they have some good competition coming up. We're going to see who this Eagles team actually is. But yeah, really, really good win there for the Eagles.
I agree. And I think Saquon Barkley should win MVP. He won't, because Lamar Jackson is having a phenomenal year. But Saquon Barkley should win MVP because he's the best player in the NFL right now. He is so much better than everybody else at his position right now. It's staggering. Now, Derrick Henry's had a great year, but Derrick Henry has had a shitload of carries, has had a bunch of fumbles. Saquon Barkley is the offense of the Eagles anytime they want him to be, but he doesn't have to be. Sure, they have a ton of other weapons, but when Saquon doesn't go, that team doesn't score nearly as many points. Saquon Barkley is playing at a different level than everybody else at that position in the NFL right now. So I think that should earn you MVP. A 9-2 team is riding you all the way to this record. You're so much better than everybody else at your position. And like, you're putting up historic numbers. He should win it, but he won't, because it's a quarterback award at this point, and Lamar's having a really good fucking year. His best year of his career, which means Lamar wins.
Yeah. And look, I think that the Eagles do need to be careful here, though, to not outwork Saquon. Like, they didn't sign him for 1 year. They signed him for multiple years. He has an injury history, and you're playing right now where you're going to try to make a deep playoff run. You want him available for all those playoff games. They probably need to get a little bit more diverse in their offense, mix in a little bit of backup running back and pass the ball a little bit more to make sure that he's going to be healthy going forward. But it's tough when Saquon is playing so undeniable. So good job on the Eagles. We'll see how they fare against some better teams here going forward.
Try to keep him under 400 touches. Good luck.
Yeah. And that takes us to Monday Night Football game last night, the Harbaugh Bowl, Baltimore Ravens and the Chargers. Game looked a little bit close in the beginning, but then the Ravens really were able to kind of stride out, get ahead. Did you watch this game? A wild fourth down call.
I did not watch
in
the
first
end
half.
of it because I live on the East Coast and it's fucking late here when this shit ends.
Yeah, but no, to end that first half, a wild call by the Ravens to stay out there on a fourth down, deep in their own territory, and they are able to convert, drive down the field, get a touchdown. Chargers are able to answer, get a field goal coming back, but that momentum going into halftime for the Ravens team, they were just kind of able to pull ahead from there. Chargers were able to get a little bit closer at the end, but realistically, it was two good teams going up against each other. Ravens were able to get the win in this one, though. I liked what I saw from Herbert, at least in the first half. He didn't look as good in the second half, but again, this is the situation. We talk about Mahomes not having receivers. Herbert doesn't really have much. Will Dissly is outperforming as a tight end right now. Lad McConkey is a rookie, but he's not meant to be a number one on this team. You're seeing the reason why Quentin Johnson is considered a failed first-round pick. He's done some nice things this year, but realistically, like, he dropped
He is a one-trick
fantastic
pony.
ball. Like, yeah, Josh Palmer is a number 3 on most teams, if not lower on the depth chart.
They'll be heavy in the wide receiver market, either in free agency or in the draft. Probably the draft would be my guess. Not a bad wide receiver draft at all this year.
Yeah.
Now, some of that premier talent is going to be gone before they get the pick, probably. But this team's not very far away from being really good, competing for a really long time. They need a big-time wide receiver. So maybe they position themselves to go make a move and go up and get a guy. But that's what's holding this team back right now is they don't have explosivity outside of J.K. Dobbins, who they lose in this game. And that really kind of hurt them. So then you got to go back to your plotting 3 yards in a cloud of dust, Harbaugh, Big Ten fucking football. And that's just not going to be enough to beat a Ravens offense that can be explosive.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch going forward what happens with J.K. Dobbins. J.K. tried to come back into the game and wanted to, and they stopped him and ended up ruling him out for the rest of the game. He's such a huge part of this offense that you really saw a difference in the second half. Gus Edwards has the capability to be a decent back, but he's not the guy that you want out there running it the whole time.
There's nothing that says he's going to break one.
Yeah. J.K. Dobbins
JK's
really
off
is
the
that
field,
guy.
that's the only guy they got that can do that.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to watch that going forward. I think they're probably going to be as careful as they can be with J.K. just because of that injury history and knowing that they need him to go on to the postseason and whatnot. So if he's not back here for a couple weeks, which I'm assuming he will be back next week, but if he's not there for a couple weeks, you could see this Chargers team kind of fall off. Again, talking about that AFC standings, right now the Chargers are the 6th seed at 7-4, but you drop a couple of games and you're going to have teams nipping at your heels like that Dolphins team, or I guess if the Colts start to string some together, or the Bengals, they could try to get in there and sneak in the back end.
The Colts aren't going anywhere with Anthony Richardson playing quarterback. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Nobody wants to say it because you sound like a dick doing it because they can't reverse course now. They already did it once. They can't.
They've already done one flip-flop.
They can't fucking do it again.
Unless there's an injury, which we don't wish for.
Ever. But, God, did you see the clip? We like Barstool here, but the Jersey Jerry saying somebody should be, Myles Garrett should be tearing his fucking ACL?
I didn't see Jersey Jerry say that, but that sounds like a Jersey Jerry thing. Look, he's a recovering addict. And he's a big time fan of the Steelers and TJ Watt. So you'll say some brash things.
Steelers and TJ Watt, by the way.
You'll hear some brash things from passionate fans. I've probably said some less than savory things about Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre in my day, and I'm not
shit about some people.
I'm not scared to say it. It's we say things from a place of passion sometimes. It is what it is. That's low KS.
All right.
All right. But that's week 12, man.
Hell yeah. Week 12.
That takes us into week 13.
Yeah.
Thursday night games.
The start of the Thursday games, I thought maybe was going to be easy to pick. I think it should be easy to pick, but if you go back and you just look at some historicals, I want to know why the Lions, even when they're fucking good, struggle on Thanksgiving so bad. They're 10.5 points. Bears at the Lions. Lions dropping 10.5 plus 100 odds you can get on FanDuel for that. It's just crazy. Even money. That's a lot of points. Minus 500 on the money line. Best team in football, Evo. Going against a team that you just saw in the Bears, who maybe is improved, maybe not improved.
Look, this is a good Bears team. And I'm going to take the Bears plus the 10.5 points here because I know they've got a good defense. Their offense is looking more competent, and it's possible that the Detroit Lions aren't going to throttle everyone going forward. That being said, every time that the Detroit Lions have been double-digit favorites, they have absolutely blown teams out this year. And that's kind of scary to think about. Like, if they are expected to be this big of favorites in this game, maybe they can do that 10.5 points. But double-digit dogs in divisional matchups since 2022 are 16-8 against the spread. So 2/3 of the time, that double-digit dog is winning against the spread. I'm going to stick with the Bears in this one. I saw what they were able to do this week, especially on defense versus my Vikings. I know that they are showing a little bit more life on offense. So I think that they can keep this within 10.5 points here in a divisional matchup, going with the Bears.
My man, there's not many teams I dropped 10.5 points for these days, but the Lions are one. Your Vikings have not been playing their best football. They were able to squeeze by the Bears. I think the Lions are drastically the best team in football. I am thinking that the Lions will exercise some demons this year. Dan Campbell is not fucking around. He's out there taking souls every week that he can. He has no problem running up the score. He will run it up. I posted in I think it was the Lineman Lounge earlier today. He will run up the score. He will blitz you all night. If they cross the line, he will pull every last one of you out. Oh, was that Ted? Bill? Yost, whatever the fuck his name is from Remember the Titans. I think he'll do the same thing, man. I'm going Lions minus 10.5. I think they beat the shit out of the Bears.
All righty. Well, you might as well go put some money on that with plus 100 odds. Fuck it.
Yeah, plus 100 odds is good.
Get it while you can. Next, we have the New York Football Giants. Don't know who's going to be playing quarterback versus the Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush playing quarterback. This is an awkward situation here. The Cowboys are favored minus 3.5 points and minus 110 odds. You can give those points to the Giants for minus 110. Being that I don't know who the quarterback is for the Cowboys or for the Giants, and being that the Cowboys were able to just slip one by here on the Commanders, a much better team than the Giants, it's putting me in a bit of a conundrum. I don't know if I'd feel better if DeVito was playing or not. Drew Lock made comments about he's not sure what's going on with the quarterback situation as well. How he somehow got skipped over in the
Tim Boyle's on that roster now, right?
Yeah,
is that
terrible.
who they signed?
Yes, from the practice squad they brought him. Yeah, who's absolutely terrible. Hopefully, he doesn't see any time. Without knowing which quarterback's going to play, it is tough to make a pick in this game. I'm kind of at a loss because I want to take the Giants plus the points, but last week gives me a little bit of pause based off of how those Cowboys performed.
Listen, I don't like this Cowboys team at all. I thought they would keep it close. They got to win. I got to continue to ride this Cowboys train for a little bit, maybe a little Cooper Rush late season magic happening one more time, because I don't know what's happening with the Giants at all. Tyrone Tracy, good player, good back, not somebody that is going to game break. Drew Lock, I don't know. If he does play, what's his headspace going to be like? Because he doesn't fucking know what's happening at all. And if Tim Boyle plays, it's a fucking wrap, bro.
Yeah, Tim Boyle's not going to play. They'll play Drew Lock before they play Tim Boyle. You know what? Give me the Giants plus the points here. Cowboys haven't won at home at all this year. I hate it. This is going to be just an ugly game.
Well, hold on. What time are they playing? Where's the sun gonna fucking
2:30 p.m.
right in their
Arizona.
goddamn face.
So it's the afternoon game. So yeah, it could be going down in their face. There's probably a dirty joke in there somewhere, but I'll take the Giants. I'm going to hope that DeVito plays. I want to see the Paisan out there. And hopefully we see a good day from Tyrone Tracy. That's all I can hope for. This is a tough one to analyze here, man. Because like both teams not good, both teams with weird situations. If you want to bet along with Vegas and everyone else here, 79% of the bets and 89% of the money is on Dallas to cover this one. So I'll go with the Giants here. Don't feel good about it.
I'm going Cowboys -3.5. This is a shit game. This is the perfect game for 4:30 when everybody's eating and ready to go to bed.
I guess one thing to pay attention to here, the over-under is 37.5. They're expecting this to be a lower scoring game, so that 3.5 points, the field goal and a hook, that might be close enough because it might be a low scoring game here. Yeah. All right. Thursday night, Thanksgiving night, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Green Bay Packers. Miami is getting 3.5 points in Green Bay in this one, -120 odds, or you can drop the 3.5 from the Packers for -102 odds. Where are you going, Mike?
This one, I'm having a little harder time going with because I think that the Dolphins are a pretty decent team. I think they're very competitive. However, we're talking late November. Dolphins going up to Lambeau. That's a tough sell no matter what, no matter who's playing, no matter how little I think of Jordan Love in clutch situations. I got to go Packers -3.5. Weather has been a huge factor for this Dolphins team the entire time Mike McDaniels has been there with Tua. So I don't think that changes this week. Packers -3.5.
I'm going the same way, man. It's a run game for me for the Packers. I think that they're going to be able to pound the rock. And like you said, the weather, cold weather there for this Dolphins team makes it a little bit more difficult for them to play. Hopefully Tua doesn't get a concussion of any sort, getting knocked around in this game.
Cold on that ground. Protect yourself, Tua. These are the games that you get fucked up in because your body is stiffer.
Yep. So yeah, Packers, I'll drop the 3.5 points here. I think that they'll be able to put a better running attack and control that game script. And that's it for Thanksgiving, but we do have a Black Friday game. Vegas Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. And this is a bit of a whopper spread here. Chiefs -12.5 points, -110 odds, or you can give the points to the Raiders for -110 odds. Raiders, again, starting Aiden O'Connell out there because Gardner Minshew is out for the year. Desmond Ridder, primary backup on this team. And
Aiden O'Connell back this week from the injury, right?
Yep. And let me refresh my brain here about this Raiders team, because I know I made mention of it, and I think it was when the Vanilla Gorilla was calling in here.
Yeah, by the way,
leading rusher with 5 carries.
My bad. I didn't realize that nobody could hear him but me.
Leading rusher there, Sincere McCormick, 5 carries, 33 yards. Who the fuck is that guy?
Sincere McCormick. That is a dope name. I'll give him that. Yeah. An A+ football name.
No idea who that is, but he got the most rushing yards for this Raiders team. Obviously, that should factor into how you bet this game. But, dude, 12.5 points, that's a big one on this Kansas City Chiefs team that barely eked out a win versus the Panthers last week. We expected that to be a get-right game for them.
Yep. Fuck the Chiefs, bro. 12.5 in the Chiefs, fuck out of here. That's my analysis. I don't need much more than that. There's no fucking way that I could take this. They could easily do this. They could win by fucking 50 against the Aiden O'Connell-led Raiders right now with no running backs and Brock Bowers catching passes. They could win by 50. But there's no way I could pick that. At what point have the Chiefs proven that they can cover 12.5 points against anybody in the league?
I don't know, but this Raiders team scares me enough right now that I don't know if they can put up 3 points. Like, Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give the points to the Raiders in this one and hope that they can keep it close with the Chiefs just because the Chiefs are not that great. Um, but yeah, Vegas is really sticking a knife in my side in this one. I hate that 12.5.
Yeah, 12.5 is not fun, and it's even minus 110 odds both ways. They're expecting 4. This is the crazy part. Over under in this game, 42.5. Spread, 12.5. Was that a fucking 12 to 30 game? Sounds very doable. 14 to 30 or 27, easy. Like that's right around those marks.
Don't say easy.
Not easy.
Don't say
Okay,
easy.
that sounds like the numbers are close. The numbers are close. All right, not easy. Nothing's easy in the NFL ever, especially when I fucking say it is.
Yeah, that's like this is another ugly game. To be completely honest, we have one good game in this slate before we get into our Sunday games, and that's that Bears Lions game. That's the only one that really interests me out of this entire matchup. Like Dolphins Packers could be good if the Dolphins show up, but I'm not holding my breath for it. But yeah, this Vegas Raiders Kansas City Chiefs game does not look
Black
great.
Friday, go shopping. Go fucking shopping. You're gonna get way more enjoyment than watching the Chiefs Raiders game.
Yeah. But that's it until our Sunday show, brother.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of week 13.
Hell yeah, brother. Good job. Great show. Everybody who tuned in when the Vanilla Gorilla called, I apologize that I did not realize that nobody could hear him but me. It was a great conversation. Vanilla Gorilla, we're going to figure that out. So next time you call in, things will work right. But guys, thank you very much. Pretty good group of people that came in. Comments flowing in today. Views flowing in today. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate every time you rock with us. If you guys could, one last time, head on over to the YouTube, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. We're awesome. We cuss a lot, but we're pretty awesome, especially if you like to laugh. The gambling has been kind of suspect this year, but if you're looking for a good time, this is where you come. You come to the lounge, the Lineman Lounge. Evo, my man, I appreciate you, brother. Give the people one last word before I get us the hell out of here.
To all of the Packer fans out there who have been upset with our takes, we apologize for absolutely fucking nothing. Conor McGregor style. Suck my whole cock.
Boom.
But we picked your team to win, so.
Invoking Conor McGregor and then saying suck your whole cock with recent events is wild, but also hilarious in the context of this show. Much appreciated. Guys, this is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. Interact with us anywhere down below. X, Facebook, TikTok, the call line when it fucking works. And the YouTube as always. We are going to be back Sunday. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. Be safe out there, people. I'm Mike. That's Evo. This is the Lineman Lounge. See ya.
Yep.